I'm gonna give you a moment to like, share, and subscribe. So please, if you can, like, share, subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, um, what have you. Like, share, subscribe. We want to more so uh, move our video up the algorithms. You know what I mean? Move it up the algorithms, move it on up, and push other videos that may be on the subject, move it down. Uh, so we want to keep our videos up. Please help us move this video up. Definitely appreciate it. I'm gonna play part of my comrade's interview that he did with Democracy Now, uh, which I was actually present in the studio with him during that time. Rakem Balogun's interview with Amy Goodman on Democracy Now, talking about the Black Identity Extremist case. And then I'm going to talk about our experiences of dealing with the attorneys, his attorneys, if you will, in that process, which was quite interesting. But nevertheless, it's something that actually happened, and I don't want us to forget it, especially those of us that was actually there. There was a number of people that was there. Kalika Baruti Shakur, uh, Yafeuh Balogun, um, Big Dara, he was there. Eric Caffrey, he was there. Y'all know Eric Caffrey because he's been on a couple of these programs with me, talking about the politics of GMF, talking about the history of really of Dallas organizing. And I think that this is part of the history of Dallas organizing that's really not particularly told because only a few of us actually know about it. But it's very important. So let's see. Get rid of a couple of these tabs here that I got set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna share this. I'm gonna present it. This is Rakem Balogun.
Well, we end today's show in Texas, where a black activist says he is the first person to be targeted and prosecuted under a secretive U.S. surveillance effort to track so-called black identity extremists. On December 12th, activist Rakem Balogun awoke to armed FBI agents storming his Dallas home apartment. He was then jailed for nearly 6 months without the possibility of bail as the FBI investigated him for domestic terrorism, in part because of his Facebook posts criticizing police brutality. He was released earlier this month after U.S. attorneys failed to prosecute him. Balogun is a founding member of the group's Guerrilla Mainframe and the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. The groups coordinate meals for homeless people, organize youth picnics, run self-defense classes, protest police brutality and advocate for the rights of black gun owners. The Guardian reports investigators began tracking him after he was part of a 2015 protest against police brutality, and that the FBI learned about the protests from a video on InfoWars, a far-right website run by Alex Jones. Balogun's arrest comes after a leaked August 2017 report from the FBI's Domestic Terrorism Analysis Unit revealed that the FBI claiming, quote, it is very likely black identity extremist perceptions of police brutality against African Americans spurred an increase in premeditated, retaliatory, lethal violence against law enforcement and will very likely serve as justification for such violence.
Civil liberties groups have slammed the FBI report, comparing the memo to the FBI's covert COINTELPRO program of the 1950s, 60s, and 70s counterintelligence program, which targeted the civil rights movement. Many have also noted the FBI memo was dated August 3rd, only a few days before the deadly white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, where white supremacist Ku Klux Klan members and neo-Nazis killed an anti-racist protester, Heather Heyer, and injured dozens more. The FBI does not seem to be surveilling and targeting white people who post violent things to social media, including multiple white men who've recently carried out mass school shootings. Demetrius Kabuchis, who shot dead 8 students and 2 teachers last week at Santa Fe High School in Texas, had posted on his Facebook page a picture of a T-shirt reading "Born to Kill." Nicholas Cruz, the 19-year-old man who killed 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High in Parkland, Florida on Valentine's Day, had shared numerous posts on social media so disturbing he was reported to the FBI multiple times, yet they never arrested him. Well, for more, we go to Texas, where we're joined by Rakem Balogun, who was released earlier this month after being held for nearly 6 months in San Francisco. We're joined by Makia Cyril, co-founder and executive director of the Center for Media Justice and a Black Lives Matter Bay Area activist. Let's begin with Rakem. You were arrested December 12th. Describe what happened.
Well, pretty much on December 12th, around 6 a.m. in the morning, me and my son was at home resting when FBI agents rammed our door and immediately rushed us outside in our underwear, under gunpoint to be arrested, and for me and my son to be, separated, and overall me be hauled off to jail.
And what did they tell you? On what grounds? What were you charged with?
I was charged with 922G, which is prohibited possession of a firearm.
And did you have a license for the firearm?
Well, in the state of Texas, you don't need a license or even have to register firearms to have them legally. Long as, you're not a felon or considered a prohibited person, you're able to have firearms, within your home or your vehicle. And if it's a long barrel rifle, and you're able to open carry that without any licenses.
So I just kind of want to play that to kind of set the tone, kind of where we coming from in this particular video. So it was one day. This is after Rakem got arrested. This was still December 2017. All the people that I just named, I may be missing one or two. Do forgive me. I know it was Robert Taylor was there, Yafeuh Balogun, Eric Caffrey, Kalika, myself, Daryl Burnham, a couple of other folks that was there. We all met downtown Dallas, and right by the McDonald's, right across the street from the federal building. And we was trying to figure out exactly where the court appointed attorneys for the federal cases, where where their headquarters is at. And so, but we parked at that parking lot, and once we kind of figured out, hey, that the court appointed attorneys were within walking distance, we walked over there, which is about a block or two away, still in downtown Dallas. So we walked there. Again, this is about December. This might have been like December 20th. Okay, because this is how soon we was there. Uh, Essentially, the purpose why we was there is because we just hadn't heard any information. At this particular time, we hadn't heard anything from Rakim. At this particular time, uh, you know, hadn't been a lot of communication far as Rakim's family from the attorney's office or nothing. And I imagine this is probably, in hindsight, this is probably how they a normal business thing that they go through, that you don't really hear just a whole lot of information. But we wanted to know kind of what his status was, so to speak, and kind of what they were, where he was as far as the case was concerned. That was really important to us. We had got on the phone. What I remember, Eric had called Rakim's mother, and while we was out there, we was kind of all huddled up. He had called Rakim's mother. I had spoke with her briefly as well, and we just let her know we're gonna go talk to the attorney, which Eric's mother, excuse me, Rakim's mother gave authorization for Eric, of course, to be there. So we said, okay, we call ourselves, we're gonna go up there, we're gonna go up to the attorney's office, we're gonna see what's going on. So we walk in there, and of course, they got the security checkpoints, whatever. So we walk in, we comply with the checkpoints, they make sure we ain't got nothing anything we're not supposed to have with security. And then they give us the floor that the court appointed attorneys are located. So we go up to the floor. First thing we noticed when we went up to the floor was that the door was locked. That's the first thing we noticed, is that the actual door was locked. Like, dang, the door locked. You know what I'm saying? So they had like a receptionist, and she looked up, but she didn't let us in. She looked up at us, so we were just kind of standing out there. We were kind of just standing out there, really kind of looking crazy, really, because how we were just standing out there. Imagine like 8 people. 'Cause that's how deep it was. We about anywhere between 6 to 8 people. We was all standing out there, waiting to see if they was gonna buzz us in. And so basically, we hit it, and they kind of talked to us through the microphone of it, and we was able to get buzzed in. And so they kind of let us in for a second, and we let them know, hey, we here to speak to attorney for Christopher Daniels, who we know as Rakem Balogun. We here to speak to the attorney and just kind of get some follow up for the case, so everybody, his family, uh, the community, because by then we had kind of reached out to a lot of different people around the country, reached out to a lot of people via social media and talked about his case. So we kind of wanted to be able to give an update on what's going on with Rakim. And so the receptionist was like, "Hold on." Then she came back and said, "We can't talk to you. Whatever. We can't talk to you at all. We don't have any. We don't do that sort of thing." And so we let her know, like, hey, we just want the information. We want to meet his attorney. We want to know kind of what's going on with his particular case. That's all we asking for. We're not asking for any intimate details that we would not normally be able to get. And so she leaves her desk again. She comes back again and says, we can't really do that. And so me, Kalika, Eric, Daryl Burnham, all the folks that we was with, forgetting a couple of other people. If a couple other people do see this, please chime in on it. You know what I mean? And just kind of give your recollection. This is kind of my recollection. This is like 5 years ago. And I said, well, we not gonna leave, you know what I mean? Because y'all should be able to just give us this information. And so it was kind of like a little standoff moment, you know what I mean? It was like a little standoff moment, really, in my opinion, because they wasn't trying to give him any information. We were saying, hey, we're not gonna leave until we get some information so we can go back and report it to his family and go and let the general community go. Again, we have starting to build this momentum that we were dealing with. Now just keep in mind there was something that was very known that the FBI at that particular time had put out called the Black Identity Extremist situation. And basically they was identifying protesters and other folks uh, under they was designating folks as being extremists or whatever. Um, and so that's the premise that we believe that Rakim was being arrested on because he was promoting um, these ideas, which I guess was more so adversarial. And also just keep in mind, this is the same city that officers were shot down at here in the city of Dallas as well that same year. So all of this occurred the same year, 2017. Okay. Um, so we said we weren't leaving. They said it was gonna call security, whatever. Uh, make a long story short, um, after about a 10 or 15 kind of waiting and kind of going back and forth, with them, uh, essentially kind of strong arming our way because we told them we weren't gonna leave, and it was kind of like the end of the day for them too. So I don't think they just had the personnel like that. They didn't want to really stay. They didn't really want to stay in the office. You know what I mean? So they said, "Okay, we'll let one of you go back there." And I think ultimately we convinced them to let me and Eric go back there. I know I went back there. I believe Eric was back there with me at the same time. And we met with his attorney, who was his initially his attorney. They actually changed attorney. It was a female attorney the first time. When they gave him a different attorney, it was a man attorney, a male attorney. And they she basically kind of gave us the layout that they were looking at this particular case, and they really hadn't figured out the details. And we basically told them that only thing that we asking for is that y'all communicate. Now I know normally y'all don't communicate with folks or let nobody uh y'all don't communicate with folks and nobody really asks y'all no questions. But in this particular case, he our brother, and we want y'all to communicate with us what's going on with this situation. So that's basically the premise of how we kind of strong arm this situation. Because normally, number one, folks don't mess with them U.S. attorneys and federal prosecutors. Folks don't really question them too much. So we actually showed up to their location, to their building. And number two, they wasn't really trying to let us in, and we kind of forced our way in. I really want to say somebody was coming out, and we kind of forced our way in, but my memory's kind of misty on that one. But I know for sure that they was not trying to meet with us, not trying to meet with have us meet with this attorney. We didn't even have an appointment. We didn't even have an appointment to meet with his attorney at all. We didn't have an appointment. We just kind of bogarted our way in there and said, "Hey, y'all gonna meet with us, and y'all gonna tell us exactly what's going on in Rakim's case." And so we got that information, and we was able to try to use it to kind of capitalize off of it at that particular point, basically, and basically kind of put the information out in the world. And that's how we became more so confident in what we were saying, and that allowed us to really build the campaign, which was ultimately which developed after that was the Rakem Balogun Defense Committee, which that was kind of the basis of how we were able to share the information of what was going on to this case and put it before the world. So that's what we were able to do. You know what I'm saying? But we had to kind of put our foot down. And I challenge any organizers right now that's kind of working whatever the issue that you're working on, put your foot down. Put your foot down. Don't be afraid to put your foot down. Put your foot down. Be firm in what you trying to do, and don't give up and continue to fight for what you believe in. We got a couple things right now that we got to fight because that's what we have shown the world that we believe in, and so we're dealing with those things even to this very day. I'm still an organizer, and I organize with an organization called CMB, Community Movement Builders. And some of the things that I believe now started right there in that attorney's office, kind of bogarting our way into the situation because that was something that they wasn't trying to allow us to do. They wasn't trying to allow us to sit and meet, but we were able to do so because we let them know that we was going to put our foot down. And this is something that we're going to figure out, and they was going to have to deal with us. And ultimately, what happened is that his case got dropped right before it actually went to trial, which is interesting. Right before it went to trial, they dropped the case, and Rakim was free. And the rest is history. So if you can, like, share, subscribe, share this with anyone. This is history, really, on the black identity extremist case. Nobody's talking about this. We the only ones that can talk about it, really, essentially from a personal perspective. Guerrilla Mainframe. There's other groups, obviously, that has experienced the same situation during this time frame, but we're putting it out now. So please like, share, subscribe, support the channel. Get with me, comment, whatever. We definitely appreciate it. Peace, power, and prosperity.